Okay. Almost perfect. We managed to squeeze 3 in the frame in one go. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Evening, everybody, and welcome to the Edge Case Games regular development Q&A. Well, I would say regular. It's not regular. We're doing a bit of an impromptu extra one this week because thanks to one heck of a free weekend, one or two of you played our game this weekend. So thanks very much for that. So here we are.
Easy targets.
Yes, yeah, we just about met our community targets. It was touch and go, but yeah. So here we are to answer the question. There are no such things as silly questions. There will be silly answers. So no matter how new or basic they might seem, ask away. That's what we're here for. So you can see Crispy playing in the background there. So you've got some pro skills highlighting there.
Try to keep the left-hand side of the screen dark so we can read the text.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
No flack allowed.
As Crispy's just pointed out there, we've got over 1,000 online at the moment, so it makes a nice change to those numbers, isn't it? It's
compared to before, it's crazy.
This is good. I'm happy with this. Okay, what we got?
I was going to jump on there is saying, obviously, with everybody coming in, we need a new tutorial. And
it's something that's been top of the list, isn't it?
It's something it's quite hard to do and involves a number of things we don't have. We were today talking about. It's funny. It's called single player mode, but actually, it's the ability to run a game without running on a server, which allows us to create a tutorial environment. We are starting on that now, so we'll be moving towards it. But in the meantime, the guys trying to put the videos together. Obviously, the forums help, but we know we need a tutorial and we need one badly. We actually look a lot at the Heroes of the Storm sequence of tutorials. They have a lovely kind of three-layer teaching system that's really nice and accessible. So we'll see how far we get.
Still have a go at that. But tutorial videos from certainly from my perspective on the community side, it's definitely something we've been on for a long time. It's we've got it's a brand new game, to people. So we need to introduce this thing. We have got one embedded on the hub at the moment, basic tutorial video. It's fairly straightforward sort of controls and such, but we will have more as it goes. Sort of game objectives, the game flow, things like that. So bear with us, please. Thanks for the patience.
Paladin's making that point there. I think we're very much aware, having looked at, having gone into LOL and even World of Tanks, which is obviously way more accessible, that it's not so much what you do with the ship. You move the ship, you fly, you get that. But where you're meant to be in a lane, what your objectives are, where your priorities should lie, all those kind of things you kind of have to learn playing the game.
Yeah.
And coming in new, especially when you've got experienced players there.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, the game mode itself isn't as simple as some people may think it is. Some people may not understand the mining stations, what they do, and what the forward stations are for, how they block jumping, and all little things like that. It needs to be explained in a
little
tutorial.
Things like the danger of jumping in combat, all that kind of stuff. I mean, we looked long and hard a while ago at both the Tanks one and the League of Legends tutorials. They now have a couple, and they never, like the League of Legends, never tell you about how basically approach combat, how to kite, rather than they just automatically that kind of game. A lot of RTSs, you want to just go straight in, so move.
Sure.
Idea of jungling, where your objectives lie, and we very much want to make sure that stuff's communicated. So it'll be ongoing, it'll be iterated, you guys will feedback on it, but we're moving forward.
And I think, again, coming from a community perspective, I think it's definitely good to, for a new player coming in, it's definitely a good port of call would be our great existing community. So we've got so many guys like Zerid, hi Zerid in the chat there, Jiraiya, these guys, they've been spending a lot of time in this game. They're really, I personally say thanks to those guys for taking your time to instruct new players over the weekend. So Zerid's streams are a great source of that, and Jiraiya's written a load of fantastic guides on the forums and videos everywhere. So I would head into the Steam forums, head into our official forums, and for now, but bear with us. Real sort of our side, our support is incoming. But
there's a couple of questions there about graphics I want to get back to, and Zerid on matchmaking stuff. But before I do, Rolling Over is asking about healing, giving XP, given thing. Currently you do. You don't see it separated out, but currently we reward damage assists, where you get a proportion of damage on a target that's killed, and healing assists, which you get a proportion of healing on a target that lives. I can at some point I'll post more detail on how it works.
It's the only way I get it.
You do actually get, especially on the Corvette, a lot of the assists you get will be heal assists. What we want to do moving forward is break those out. So we turn kills into, as we talked about before, takedowns, and that'll include damage assists. And then assists, or we'll try and find a better name for it, will be specifically buffing and healing. So support are separated, they have their own column, kind of thing. that's something we'll do moving forward. But you do already get XP for heals.
So the other question was low spec machines then. So yeah, we do want to be able to support obviously as many machines as possible because it's better for us as a free to play game. But right now the requirements for the game are obviously quite high because it's just not, we haven't finished optimizing the game yet basically. So yes, it is going to run an awful lot better on much lower spec machines in the future. I think they were also asking about like, a specific different render or something for lower spec machines. I'm not sure about that really. I think we'll just want to, I mean, Unreal Engine 4 is meant to be incredibly scalable. In fact, it should run on pretty low spec machines really. It's just the amount of polys we're pushing and the amount of post-processing we're using currently makes it a lot more expensive than it normally would be. So basically just wait for patches, I guess, and we'll improve performance all the time.
And the other thing we want to do is be able to take, because at the moment we have the various scales of sort of low, mid, high, ultra, and we haven't had an opportunity yet. We can put those side by side and check, one, the make sure that the graphics look not necessarily amazing, but look clearer and better on each mode. So each mode's consistent graphically, but also that the communication's the same. So a guy playing a low gets the same gameplay communication as the guy on ultra.
Yeah, that's very important.
And we need to do that, we need to check that, and once we've got sort of that moving forward, it'll be easier for us to make sure any variation in graphics is not suffering.
So you've got a question there about ranges on the weapons, and I think we covered low machines there. Is there anything
Yeah. It'd be good to get back to the matchmaking thing, but we'll do ranges.
Oh, matchmaking, yeah, sure. Well, with the ranges, yeah, there is information in the hangar screen as to the effective ranges of each weapon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Jirai on the list, but Jirai's asked for information to post on stuff. One thing we noticed talking to Jirai about it is the post stuff I've put on the front end is basically the data straight from the blueprints. So, for example, on range you get the projectile speed and the lifetime. Those aren't necessarily an accurate indication of range, as we've kind of discovered. There used to be an issue where damage attenuation over range would limit the damage to a point where you never reached the max range that you'd get from the life of the projectile. And the other problem was some of the missiles specifically have very low launch speeds, which means that the time it takes to launch is removed from the lifetime of the projectile, which also means you don't get max range. So we need to work on how we communicate the ranges in the front end. But in terms of in-game, the guys are working on a UI system that will use iconography basically to communicate whether a target is in range of any system. So that'll help massively on being able to look at a guy and say which system to fire.
Yeah, or basically be on the actual target itself. So you've got your little target brackets and stuff there. We want to have like...
Well, I think it's going to be people are going to be really...
There we go.
What, we're up?
We ain't got anything on screen, Crispy.
Yeah, I can't see it on.
You can't see it on us.
No.
Hello everybody, all we can
Hi
see
everyone,
is a
we're
yellow
back.
screen. Sorry we disappeared.
There we go, that's
Hey.
fine. Sorry about that, guys. We've, yeah, that was
Technical difficulties.
some gremlins. Right, let's try and remember where we were. So, should we answer Zerid's question first, or should we go to...
Well, Zerid was was asking about priorities, and yeah, so obviously now with the larger player pool, things like matchmaking, drafting, playing with friends, and obviously tutorial are massively important.
Yeah, they've suddenly been bumped up in priorities purely because they become more important the larger the player base, those sorts of things, because before we didn't really have the player numbers to support matchmaking.
Yeah, and absolutely that would have been a bad idea to limit the number of games we could trigger based on who was playing, but with a larger player pool it only allows us to push forward on that. Mark's probably the best person to answer where we are in it. I can tell you, yes, it is a priority, but I couldn't tell you.
And it has been worked on now as well, the matchmaking and stuff.
Probably something we could go into in depth next time we do a podcast. If I grab Mark or someone.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark or Greg.
Mark and Greg are
definitely get them in and do a proper one on it.
I'll try and grab them in for a pod then. Yeah, we
maybe
certainly
talk
want
to Dylan about on the dates on deliverables and stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There was another question earlier about loadouts and changing the nature of the ship. The way we attach components to the ship, specifically turrets, but also the intention originally was things like the front of the assassin is the globe of the front assassin is meant to be the cloak module. And originally the ships were made out of components so that theoretically if you changed your cloak module for a different one, it would change visibly on the ship. Currently, what we found out, building a ship like that became a big expense on the running of the game, so currently the ship's a single mesh. Turrets can change with system, but...
Yeah, the turrets can, it's just not...
Yeah, but the effect's probably not... so I can't say that you'll actually massively change the ship. If you look at the sniper, actually, each time the sniper changes its guns, it is actually changing, obviously, a huge component. Likewise, the destroyer will when you change the guns on that. but things like the blink drives and the cloak drives probably won't change with system, just because of the overhead it sticks on the model in the world. We are intending on expanding all the loadouts on the ships, and but those theoretically, as I said a few times before, will always stay to the role of the ship.
Question, something we've spoken about in the past, but I think new players definitely be interested to know about plans on adding AI within the game.
Yes, so the main issue with adding AI is that basically every time we change the game mechanics in the game or change what ships do, we have to basically rewrite all the AI again. So it's a massive waste of resources and time. Until we've got to a certain point in development, of course. Now it's slightly too early because a lot is actually going to change, like introducing an energy system on the ships and new ships as well, and just changing the way certain things work. It's all just going to be a nightmare basically. So once we reach a certain stage, then we will start working on bots, essentially, AI, which you'll be able to fight against. And hopefully that will let you be able to play single player as well, effectively, just against bots. So yeah, it is coming, and we are going to do it, but it's just we're a little bit too early in development to actually release it now.
And it's something we need for tutorials as well, obviously, so we can set up scenarios for you to deal with.
Yes, definitely.
And PvE sort of co-op kind of stuff.
Yes, I mean, we'll probably release them in stages. The initial implementation will probably be very, very done just for tutorial purposes, basically, and then later on we can make them better and better, and hopefully everyone can actually fight against. We'll see how that goes, basically.
Question up next.
Next big update coming?
Who's that from?
SL97.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at...
Well, normally the updates come toward the end of the month, beginning next month. However, we have, with the prep for the free weekend, and also there's a number of kind of big things in studio happening. A few of us are off on a trip for a week. We might lose Toonzilla for a couple of weeks on maternity leave and a few things. So that and the fact that we've sort of lost some time on the patch to setting up the free weekend means that'll probably come a week or two into May. So that'll be the next big patch coming out, and hopefully there'll be 2 new ships and a load of stuff.
Yeah, we'll be revealing more stuff on that, so, as it's ready. We'll have some more stuff to share very soon, actually. I think we're talking about sharing some of the new crew soon. So
that patch should include 10 new crew plus G.
The crew of chaos get beefed up. My custom lineup. Okay, what else have we got here? So we've got.
If I can jump, there is a question there from Major Guns. Oh no, don't Jiraiya.
Oh no, it's just saying.
Hey, hi
Jiraiya.
Yeah, cool.
Okay,
Major Guns is asking about the new map. Funnily enough, we just played. When we say new map we kind of mean the thing that's going to replace the current one. It's the game mode we have kind of works. We may keep it possibly as a intro map or a test map or an occasional fun mode. But what we want to do is replace the capture spheres that you have at the enemy bases. Willus will be on later on, he can talk a bit about it, but we just had a test of his map, it went very well, so we'll be pushing forward with that. As for alternate maps, we do want to do those, but obviously we don't want to spend a lot of time building maps when the mode itself isn't fixed and set. And we're currently changing how Gamma works, how capture on the bases work, getting, Stan's done a lot of work on getting turrets in the world to fire at you. And
think of it like League of Legends, for example. They iterated on their main game mode a lot to begin with, and then they eventually released other side game modes and stuff. We want to do something similar. I mean, perhaps we could have slightly more variety in maps than that, but we'll see how it goes.
Jiraiya.
When is Jonesy this is something that me and Crispy might have inadvertently promised on Sunday.
Willus was pushing this earlier on.
Good. I'm glad I'm the only one.
Assuming that we're not going to get sued by 20th Century Fox, Jonesy the cat will be coming.
He's definitely a popular pitch over here.
Yeah.
Zerid, I think you'll be pleased. Yes, you're less URS, more Zarek for TDS. I think you'll be free.
So the next 2 ships are Zarek. And
they're both Zarek, aren't they?
Yeah, they're both Zarek ships. And then we've got coming. We have the TDS Heavy, which looks
it's
awesome.
a handsome beast.
It does look very
I mean, the USR tree isn't finished by any means. As you can tell, there's no real proper starter ship. It doesn't develop through to the gameplay styles as we wanted to. So we will be filling all the trees out. But the others need more, so we'll be heading that way first.
Venom Wolf, what is the 2000 on the right side of the hub for?
That is the energy system. So HUD basically got in. When we're building the HUD, we're aware we're going to add an energy system. So the right-hand side represents the amount of energy your ship has. Code have done all the work basically to have an energy system that supports your abilities. we basically need the time to start flying into the ships, because obviously we have 12 ships, 5 abilities in each, not counting jump. There's a lot of work to get that in and balance it. But what it will allow us to do is to set up scenarios where, for most of the time, the assassin can't jump in cloak, whereas if he's got full energy, maybe he can. And we can use energy to control how and when you use abilities in game. But then during the level up process, we can alleviate some of that, so the game can get more. You can accelerate the pace of the game through your ability to fire your systems rather than just your ability to stand base damage, for example.
I think I can do this in one. Reinhard von Lohengram.
Good name.
Are there concepts of how to improve coordination between players? It's just gone off screen, but it's about using a command wheel.
We are definitely going to add something like that to the game, like a quick command system, effectively.
We actually have all the voiceover for it. All the voiceover we've recorded includes things like get back to base, follow me, hit my target, those sort of standard kind of cross-communication ping style shortcuts. We just need to get the system in and team communication in.
Yeah, absolutely, because we appreciate that. Obviously, stopping to type in the middle of a game like this isn't ideal, so we definitely need that.
It's another one on the whiteboard, isn't it? Right, we've got Mercia. Fleet carriers with multiple squadrons. I think you're going to enjoy something we'll be revealing soon.
Well, I think we have token. I think we spoke about it last time. So one of the Zarek ships coming is the carrier, which we originally started talking about last November.
There's been carrier hype.
Yeah, and it was gonna go in November, December. Then myself and Stanith talked about it and realised that we couldn't put it out there unless we completely revisited the small ship system. Stanith spent ages working on that. Got the small ships point defence in, missiles working, so it could be taking out all that complex stuff. And some of that's in game now, but the carrier is basically the flagship. The carrier's the flagship. The carrier's the showcase for that system, so that should be coming at the end of this month, hopefully.
The 2 upcoming Zarek ships, will they be tier 3?
Yes, they will both be tier 3.
There you go. Exclusive reveal.
Actually, I might change my mind, but they're probably going to be tier 3.
Yeah.
Jarius is the Cloaker different from the Infiltrator? Are they both stealth ships, or is the Cloaker going to be Zarek's first support?
Cloaker?
I'm not too sure I've heard of a Cloaker. Is that
the new one of the
new Infiltrator?
Was that a placeholder name for the Infiltrator?
Maybe. I mean, the Infiltrator is a stealth attack ship. It will have a cloak. That's the other Zarek ship that's coming at the end of the month. There you go. We revealed everything. We go home. But not sure what Cloaker is. But it does sound like a stealth ship, definitely.
Just before it goes off the screen, there. How are we going to be implementing Platinum? Well, I think the way we're doing everything so far is
the hard currency.
I would imagine so. I mean, everything in game is our soft currency, basically. With side grades, apart from things like premium stuff. Which is
so to clarify, platinum is the term we're using for hard currency. So gold in tanks, or what's leagues called? I forget. Anyway, so
RP isn't it?
So it's our hard currency. So that essentially that will be money you put into the game will be converted to platinum, and then you can spend that on skins or premium ships. Various boosters.
As Grok, will the crew have perks? They do, in fact, have stat modifiers at the moment. They don't go up in experience, but
specifically the what example? Yeah. So our crew currently have modifiers that allow you to add like small boosters through a game to your ship. So decrease cooldowns, increase health slightly, those kind of stuff. We're adding more of those. We'll get more of those with the crew. So you'll get jump core specialists that speed up your jump times and jump warm-ups. So they do have modifiers. They don't have perks like Welder Tanks. Sixth Sense is the easiest example. In Welder Tanks, when you level up a crew to 100%, you get to pick a perk. When you level up at 100%, you get it. And they're quite nice little add-ons. That kind of comes from the level up system. And we do want to take crew to a point where you do level up, but that's way off at the moment. So eventually.
Yeah, I guess it's just slightly low price.
Cloaker comes from Trello. I think
that's
Toonzilla. Never listen to anything he says. It's all lies.
There we go. Zerid, yes, I got your tweet just before we went on air actually about that. Next economy reset. I don't think we've got one.
We haven't got one
planned, but I'd be ready for one.
Yeah,
we don't have anything hard planned in at the moment, do we?
Yeah, we talked about. One's probably inevitable. We've heard talks about whether we can do a soft one where we allow you to keep your economy that you've earned so far and just reset the trees. Yeah. Ideally, that would be the ideal situation when we have to do multiple resets of the tree. But some time before now and going free, there probably will be a reset of the economy.
Yeah, I think the main time is going to be when we actually go for each place to do it. That'll be the main reset. But between now and then, we don't want to do it too often, if at all.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
we'll have to see where we are.
What we said before as well is that we don't want. Obviously, you put time into the game, you've unlocked ships, and then suddenly that's gone. We don't want that to go without some kind of sort of recompense. And like we've kind of done with the weekend, anybody who played the weekend got a badge. That badge will entitle them to the content that's coming. Likewise, when we do resets, there'll always be a badge added to your account, and that badge will hopefully get you the content that will make up for the resets.
Yeah, basically we want to reward players for playing during early access and stuff and actually supporting us, so you'll get something, basically, even if there is a reset.
There we go.
Stanith crew member.
Yeah, there we go. I want crew members for everyone in the studio now. So good. Okay, what we got here? Shadow Crumber. Will the founder packs only be available to alpha backs like me? Will they always be available? I mean, I think the long term, the aim is skins and things will be available.
The founder packs,
but the founder packs are.
Chris isn't here, so I didn't check. But my understanding is founder packs are for early access only. They're for people who came into the game early. They put their time in before we went free to play. Some of the rewards available in the founder packs that you get from having a founder pack will probably be available for hard currency to new players. Some of them won't. But the founder packs themselves and the titles you get from them are unique to early access.
Yeah, of course you want some things to be exclusive to our founders, basically.
Yeah, to the people that helped us out now.
Sharkat, do you plan on implementing taunts as well? It's a minor thing, of course, but we sort of do got taunts. Yeah, we have.
Kinda.
You get.
It depends what you mean. At the moment, and it needs some work. The guys have been working on the UI to make it clearer. When you have a crew member, any member of your crew can taunt an enemy member, and so when you kill somebody, one of your crew sends a taunt to them. Our problem at the moment is there's only a limited number of crew, and you've probably got that guy in your crew, so you hear the taunt and you don't
the
realise.
communication isn't
Yeah, so we need to clarify the difference between a standard message, like we're seeing on the screen now, and a taunt message. But yeah, those taunts are there, and one of the ideas is that you may pick crew. You'll pick crew for the modifiers to get the best game, most likely, but you also might pick crew because you like that taunt, and it rubs it in nicely, and you'll get that one. But currently we use them as our taunt delivery.
Right, what have we got now? Economy reset, will that be with leaderboard reset? I think we covered that.
I think leaderboards is actually separate, right? So it would be a separate reset. Obviously, we've reset the leaderboard before, and again, if we have to do a leaderboard reset for any reason, then we want the same reward scheme to be in process.
Any plans of making upgrades choosable? I think we spoke about this last week, didn't we? I think about like in-game upgrades, during a match.
Oh right, yeah. We've talked about at the moment we have a system where, as you level up, generic modifiers applied to your entire team. A system we've talked about internally a little is the idea that you get to select, as you get up, you select your upgrade for your ship. So as a frigate, you might get an option of upgrades that'd be different from an assassin, but you can choose the path your ship takes.
Yeah, but basically the current system that's in there is actually entirely placeholder, just a generic up your stats throughout the game. We do intend to put a proper fleshed out upgrade system into the game. We haven't completely nailed down all the details yet, as Jim was saying, but we will have one.
We kind of like the system in here as the Storm. It's nice, it's simple, it's not as complex as a shop, but it allows you to make decisions on where your character goes.
Question from Mersha there about the Vanguard. Any plans on letting us choose a different premium ship from the Phantom? The guys who would answer this question aren't actually in the building at the moment. But
I can tell you that we're planning on adding new premium ships, but as far as I'm aware, we're not planning on changing or removing the Phantom from the Vanguard. It may be that more premium ships are added to the Vanguard, but we're not.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And of course, we do have the free weekend rewards as well, where we're going to have a community vote for.
Oh, cool. Well, is that one of the options?
Yeah, it was the final one. So vote for your favourite. There we go. Power of democracy. How extensive will the ship add-ons be? A lot of disabled, but there are only 1 to 2 rows. How many more will there be, and will it change the look of the ship slightly?
Yeah, I said the look will be limited to the ship. You'll probably get a bigger difference on a sniper or a disruptor where the turret's changed than any of the others.
Yeah,
different particle effects and things and so on.
So you may well get different particle effects, clear visual communication on the loadouts change. As for how many, the placeholder setup is that each selection, which is your 5 systems plus engine, and engine covers jump and point defense.
That's 3 different versions, isn't it?
Yeah, it has 3 different versions. We probably won't push all 3 on all the ships, but you should be looking at a good 10 options on each ship. We haven't got there yet. Obviously, on the new ships, we don't add loadouts because new ships change. But yeah, the plan is to fill those out for all the ships.
Screaming wins question of the night there. Are there any plans to add a surrender option so my enemies don't have to suffer so much? It's a question I've been asking constantly.
We have talked about a surrender option actually, just because you can get into situations where you just don't want to play against the team. But we think, to be honest, we'd rather we set up the game as best as possible not to need one, and rather than necessarily have a surrender option, have like a game timeout or some system to end the game.
Shoots off the screen. I think we should catch Jiraiya's one here.
I agree with Sav's just saying it's too early. I agree.
If we've noticed, Scythe Beam will deal 1k damage to a target if their armour is broken before use. Is that intended or is that a bug on the way Scythe damages armour? I'm not sure
I thought we'd
that.
remove the damage from the side.
The idea is that it does increase damage just to the armour, right?
Yeah.
So the 1k damage point is the damage that gets.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
Absolutely.
Damage.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. So the way the scythe works is it does deliver damage, but it only delivers damage to armour. If you're seeing 1k come up, that's because the armour you've broken through probably has 1k hit points, and then the rest of the damage is lost. So the damage is inflicted purely to the armour and not to the ship. Scythe basically cuts armour.
Shadow Cumber, about the community rewards there's a blog post up on our website about exactly what's going to be unlocked and how. It's not so much an amount of games, it's essentially for all our new players. So it's in detail on there. I'd direct you to that. I think it's probably the best place to it's just stonefracturespace.com about the free weekend rewards. So best resource for you there. Do you need to sub out now, Gilby?
Was it now half past? Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's just gone half past. So
you will in the wings.
We're gonna do it. Well, if you want to go, it's if you've got
let's
to go,
get Will in. Come on.
We're gonna do a sub now.
We're gonna have a substitution now. So Stanith's got the lead.
Bye.
Yeah. So thanks very much for joining us.
Cheers, mate.
Stanith. See you later. And introducing a wild Willus appeared.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, moving.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got to huddle up a little bit here. So we're getting the questions are flying in thick and fast tonight. So we're trying to catch them before they go off screen. Right, here we go. Let's go from Reinhard again. What does the blue bar in the top right indicate? We don't have a game on the screen at the moment, so I'm trying to remember. The top right.
Blue bar top right. Top right is
Oh,
KD.
the ping.
Oh, that one. Ping.
It's the ping. Okay, there we go. Games.
There's
nice.
a question about side map, combat map. Basically, we've talked about. We do want to get the next mode. Basically, will be a fast, frantic, sort of minimal kind of just shoot stuff.
Secondary kind of map. Yeah. Something. Once we've nailed this map, we want to move on to. I'm a big fan of all random, all mid in League of Legends, and then like simplified. What's it called? Murder Bridge. It's got a different name, but yeah, they've got a really kind of simplified map. So they've still got the objective structure. They've still got kind of turrets and that war of attrition thing going on, but it's very much kind of like a single lane, completely team fight focused all the way through. Really, really action packed, and I think something more kind of combat focused for the next mode would be awesome.
And obviously that'd be a great place to test new ships and loadouts and whatever.
Absolutely. I think we did see a question that reminds me of a question just before it went off the screen about test drive options for new ships. There's something I've noticed in the forums as well. Is that something we're considering already?
We've talked about a number of ways of doing it. Some of them changing a way to access ships, but we won't go into now just because we haven't talked to it, Chris or James. But yeah, we want you to be able to. I mean, obviously, when we've got things like the single player that we need to support the tutorial, that'll allow us to create a scenario where you can just go in and test your guns against bots. Probably one of the earliest implementations of the tutorial will be something like that. That'll give you a sort of very clear test area. And you want to make that as accessible as possible. One of the annoying things, Tanks has a wonderful place where you can go in, but you have to have another player in order to start, which means you can't go by yourself and drive around in the tank, which is annoying. But yeah.
Okay, looks like we're getting quite a lot of enthusiasm for that map idea, judging from the comments there.
Howling Abyss, good name.
That's the one. Howling Fjord, Howling Abyss. Slightly past my expertise, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't play too much more. So.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Okay, so questions are slightly dried at the moment, guys. So do ask away. I guess in the meantime, what have we what have we got looking? What are we looking at for the next big uptake, guys?
Well, I was going to say, now Willus is here. We were talking about the playtest. Somebody was asking about new maps generally. I mean, just having new maps. And I was saying we just tested the new map, our new map, which is the replacement game load for the current one.
Actually, reasonably successful today. I mean, we've been testing it a bit recently. I guess I better just describe what the new map's all about.
Sure.
So the new map, it's like an evolution of the current map that's in the live game mode, but the stations are getting quite hefty reworks. So the forward stations are going to get kind of turret defences, and they've got a kind of a core that you need to destroy that opens up the jump routes. So rather than capturing those stations, you're blowing stuff up. All of the kind of the shields on the front with all the hexagonal panels, all of those hexagonal panels are all individually destructible. So you kind of get your cover chipped away over the course of the game. It's pretty cool.
Start fighting through them. It's nice.
And we got home bases, which have kind of they've got a giant base cannon which hits really, really hard, and then kind of outer turrets, and you have to destroy the giant cannon to destroy the base to win the game. We've been doing some various, we've been iterating on it quite a lot recently, and today was the first time it became approaching playable, in my opinion. Been trying out a bunch of stuff, like little individual satellite turrets, little healing platforms, all sorts of little destructible elements with their own little effects. And the more and more I've tried, the more I've kind of felt like it really just needs to be simplified. So the current setup that we've got in this new version of the map, the home base just has got like a base cannon and then 4 turrets, sort of turret platforms around it, sort of smaller perimeter cannons. It did used to have loads of stuff going on, but reining it back and simplifying it. It turns out when you've got a 5v5 team fight going on, a couple of extra turrets adds a hell of a lot to that. So the stuff that's going on in the environment is intentionally kept relatively simple, but it does help you defend.
It's funny because there was lots of it was way more complex before. I mean, you're talking about it's very easy to add complex ideas to it, and it's just stripped down and just really works nicely. I'm going to jump in some of the questions before they vanish. Somebody was asking about ramming. Ramming always comes up. Yes, it was actually a task this month, and I think I said last week actually it got pushed to next month because free weekend and everything else needed to support everything else. Apologies, it's like the carrier just gets pushed back, but we are intending on doing ramming. The brief's been written on how to do it. It's signed to a coder. It's just probably not going to make it in.
I've got a couple of ideas for interesting ships that would make use of the ramming mechanics.
I remember talking about this last summer about my hammerhead ideas.
Let's do it. Any system we add, we're going to have a ship, multiple ships that use it and exploit it.
I was really excited about ramming when I used to play Flagship a lot, but now I play Corvette. I'm not so excited. I think it's not really going to work.
Force is going to have a hard time as well.
Crispy, what are the questions? Vet service, before we forget. I was told vet service would be up end of last week. They weren't. I'm not sure what the current situation is, but obviously we know you guys want them. We want to get them up. Crispy, is Crichton still there?
No, he left.
Crichton's the man to ask. We'll quiz him. I quizzed him on Monday and said, where are they? But he's obviously been busy. Been busy getting the hotfix ready and everything else. I have tomorrow to get him because he vanishes after tomorrow, but we'll quiz him on it and make sure him or Aid have that sorted.
Question about have we considered true 3D movement?
Yes, when we originally built the game, it was true 3D movement. Obviously, we came from Strike Suit, and that's full 3D. So when we first did the prototype, we implemented full 3D flight models. And you imagine we have a team of people that at the time we had a team of people that made a space game, and so you have a ship moving in 3D with turrets with limited fire arcs, firing on a platform that you're moving, and it got ridiculous really, really quickly. It became very, very hard to actually maintain and hold a target because the turret traversed in 3D. It was way harder to deal with than a turret in 2D. It's something we might return to eventually, but if I'm honest, I think the submarine nature we've got of the game is way easier for people to understand and play.
I think personally, from just a composition point of view, the amount of ships we're planning to add, we need them to remain readable. And when you control which way up you're seeing something, it's easy enough to make a kind of a distinct silhouette for it. But when it could be facing any way up at any point, and you could come at it from any angle, it's very hard to make stuff that's always recognizable when you don't have any control over how someone's looking at it. And there's also
you imagine how frustrating it'd be to a sniper when you just have to turn the whole ship vertically and you can't. But yeah,
there's also the fact that in Star Wars and in Star Trek, you never have Star Destroyers upside down.
That was actually my argument.
It's just
if you watch,
not a thing.
Yeah, my original argument for removing other than the fact that nobody can play it was you don't see the battle start. You see them drift, and our ships kind of do. You see them tilt, but you never see them completely inverted, firing at a funny angle.
It's just kind of
because
cinematic.
You can't read it. You want to see the ship, not looking odd. So there's inherently we like seeing things like something. There was a question
about increasing player sizes.
Yeah, which is another one that comes up a lot. It's something we talk about. Previously, we wanted to keep it at 5v5 so that we could keep cycling games, so that there was always games available. Obviously, we increased the player size of any game. Those players are out of the pool. We have a larger player base now, so I imagine we hope to test larger numbers. The numbers listed, which were 6v6 or 7v7, are more realistic. We'd love to be able to try 10v10, which has been suggested, but until we can control the frame rate and the lag a lot better than we are now, it'll be a while before we get there.
We had some bugs a few months ago, which actually allowed more than were allowed people to join servers, and I really enjoyed the couple of games I played 7v7. It felt really nice. I think 7v7 would be an interesting number for this map.
Excited Pete, yes, you'll be able to crash your ships into devs. We'll make sure they're clearly marked and they move very slowly.
Yeah, if you've ever watched our Thursday streams, you'll know I'm pretty awful at the game. So yeah, just crash into me. It's fine.
Grab that question on join as multiple people. Yeah, I mean Zerid raised it earlier on. It's that question about drafting, playing with friends. That is very important. We know it's incredibly basic, but the ability you currently have to switch teams if somebody in the other team agrees is a small step towards allowing you to try and get the same team as your friends. That's sadly been complicated by the fact we now auto-balance according to experience because of the large influx of new players. So yes, we will have it, of course we will. It's a vital part coming into the game. But again, there's setting up that element to the game where you draft, where you get match made, and it's all kind of that system that we don't have yet. The convenience of the one we have at the moment where you pick a server and you join is that it's very quick and it's very easy to get games. As we start adding matchmaking and drafting, that whole time will increase substantially, and so we have to be very careful about adding it and making sure that everything's working.
Okay, got a double barrel question on the vet servers there from Jiraiya and Poro. Any chance of the vet servers tied to your standard servers? I think that's probably a question for Crichton Volks again, isn't it? Rather than anything we can.
I think, Crispy, do you know?
Yeah, I think it'd be very tough. But Volks and Crichton.
We'll get onto Volks and Crichton tomorrow. In fact, after this, I'll send them out to both and pick them up on tomorrow.
They're running away with it here. Ships with close range attacks often suffer from the damage of exploding enemies. Is this a balance problem, or could those ships get some additional resistance or similar? I find like with the Brawler, it's all about positioning your armour, right?
Yeah,
for example.
Yeah, I think there's probably some work on it. I think prior to adding the ship detonation, close range attack ships got away with murder, literally.
Definitely.
And I think it does give them, they have to hold their range back and they have to pull back. Or they have to take the hit and be careful of moving on to a second attack. So there's probably some work we can do to it, but I think on a whole the system works. That said, we have so many things to balance, as you know, from playing the game. So yeah, we'll
Just as I noticed, I can never seem to join the first game in the server list, and if you die while jammed, it remains jammed until respawn. Okay, this first game in the server list, it's just purely because they're filling up so quickly these days.
Since the patch, I mean, we find it internally. You see a lot more of join failed or joining and then not joining because that server's already gone. It just happens so quick.
Yeah, I've just got to head down there. And as to the remaining jam thing, I think until respawn, don't things still?
Well, there's an issue. There was an issue previously where as you're respawning, HUD components did not update. The guys have been working on that. I think they're under the impression they've fixed all those issues, but it feels like jamming probably hasn't, because obviously if you've respawned and your map's updating, then the jamming would go because you're no longer in that sector. But yeah, Crispy, can you write a note for us to chase that up tomorrow?
Yeah.
Jamming updates on on the HUD.
I just saw a question that scrolled off the top, which was talking about some kind of bow stern indicator while you're zoomed in your first person sort of sniper mode, just so that you can see which way your ship is facing. And yeah, have you talked already about the kind of the little ship representation?
We
much like
briefly before, but yeah, I mean it's something we took way back, and that was something we actually had in the original HUD down. We had to strip the HUD down because we were adding so much. But we're actually going to be bringing back the sort of version of the ship, your ship in the corner, so you can see things like where your armour's damaged, which way your ship's pointing when you zoomed in, where fire's coming from, all sorts. So useful piece of information.
We'll probably have like kind of debuff icons for the status effects and stuff, like the gas power one and those kind of status effects which are drawn with debug text right now. We'll probably have that sat.
Yeah. So I mean, if you imagine the World of Tanks one, obviously has your components and their states. 5v5.
Crashing with Crasher.
Yeah.
I'm late to the party, but has anyone asked about a possible timeline for the new maps? Will maps beat Asteroid Crowded? Don't think we covered timelines, did we? But
no, I mean, as we did, what we did say before is we're still, as far as we're concerned, the game's early access, we're still evolving the main game mode and the main map. Willus is currently working very hard on the map that will replace the current one. They won't be sitting in areas that damage you to capture. You'll be fighting turrets and taking down stations, and a lot more sort of combat and objective orientated map. That will replace the current one for the main game mode.
I think the fact we're calling it a new map is causing confusion.
Yeah.
It's basically it's an evolution. It's like it's version 2 of this map.
Yeah. I mean, new map came up even before we moved on it because there's an expectation for alternate maps and different ways to play, and we will be getting to that. But obviously, those maps have to be built for any game mode. They have to be built around a complete game mode, so that we don't have to remake. At the moment, if we had 5 maps and we changed the game mode, we'd have to change all 5 maps. Whereas at the moment, we're building one map, and then that allows us to build multiple ones. As for the geometry inside, asteroids are an easy way to populate and provide geometry. There's also a thing we want to get in soft cover, which is like gas clouds, nebula that you can use, maybe broken bits of spaceships. But yeah,
Gamma's going to look nice too.
Gamma's
going to have some nice furniture.
Yeah.
We should hopefully have something to show
sleep.
soon. So. Right, okay, that's
we're meant to ignore that.
Yes, ignore that. Nothing's happened whatsoever.
Not look behind the curtain.
Yes, black holes and nebulas.
Grinding Souls. I've got a question from a mate of mine about the jump interface. He finds the feedback from the widget to be very unclear, especially when in lower res. You can't quite see which is selected. Any kind of change? Yeah,
there's issues with the jump widget anyway. We're aware that you can still misselect, but what is coming soon basically is a tab map where you'll pick jump locations, and that should be a lot clearer, a lot more precise, and also allow you more choice into the point you're jumping to.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will resolve some of the issues.
It'll give us a load of other stuff as well as jump. So basically, the idea is you bring up this map screen, and we'll have mouse control on the screen, so we'll be able to give you tooltips about what various elements on the map are.
But also your teammates as well, and their buffs and their systems.
Yeah.
But the thing, the low res thing is worth pointing out. If you see issues that aren't clear on low res, do let us know so we can point UI guys to it. Obviously, they should be looking at the various scales anyway, but we were noticing today that there's some bugs can come out of the system we use to create the HUD, so if you see things are wrong, do let us know and we can chase them down.
Mersha, I won't hear a bad word said about my Corvette.
He's a big, Corvette player, absolutely.
I'd love a preview of the Cat mod drone's AoE before it fires.
Yeah.
Again, it's something.
Well, the Cat mod drone will evolve anyway. He's very much. It's very much a system in the current version of the game. When the version 2 comes out, there'll be no capturing at base. There'll be no capturing at forward stations. They'll only be capturing on the mining stations. So the Cat mod himself will evolve into something that affects your ability to. What I've talked about before, it's not finalised. What I've talked about before is a system that affects launch bay abilities. So if you capture through the launch of dropships, for example, the Cat mod drone would accelerate that ability. If you were sending healing drones, they would accelerate that ability, and it would become a system that improves launch bays. So it'll evolve, basically. As for seeing the AoE, it doesn't actually exist until the thing's launched, but we'll have to think about it.
Those kind of deployment effects right now are just generally a bit awkward.
Yeah.
We've got the new beacon on the equalizer, which I think has proved pretty successful in a very similar kind of system.
Well,
It's just dropping a thing in the world.
The tech buoy is much more what we want to do with the existing ones. So the tech buoy lives in the world until it's destroyed, or you drop another one. It's persistent and acts like a ward. And what we want to do is any of those systems, tech drone and everything, we want them to go into. So they're much more substantial in game. They have to be taken out, have to be hunted down. So yeah, we want to move towards the way the buoys work. But yeah, still wouldn't show you the AoE prior to firing. But yeah.
But you'll be able to place it more accurately.
Yeah.
I think the problem with the current one is it's really hard to judge how far away it's going to shoot before it pops, and it's just a bit awkward to put it where you want it.
Yeah, there's a question there about the different game modes. Yeah, eventually we'll have different game modes and then maps to support those game modes, but that's obviously we need to get one game mode and map finished to a state where we can evolve in it. And like we say earlier, the first thing we'd probably hit would be a faster, more frantic ARAM style thing.
We had a question there about random instances in the map, such as comets or singularities affecting.
Absolutely. It's something we've talked about internally, but it's they kind of those things kind of support an existing map, existing game mode. So we want to get everything working. I mean, to a certain extent, the eye in Gamma that's coming is kind of like an entity that exists within the world.
Yeah,
and the sun beneath it affects the environment. But we can go further.
I would say, totally ideas like that sound that's totally stuff we're thinking about. Just as a little nitpicky thing, I would say random effects. Random isn't something I think will be putting.
Predictable, as in it could cycle through every.
Cool. Sorry about that, guys. Same issue. We're probably going to have to cut this fairly short, so give us another 5-10 minutes, just because we need to operate. There's something.
Computers crashing in a dev company.
Yep. There we go. Probably user error on my part. As I say, probably do another sort of 5-10 minutes. So I'm sorry we've missed a few questions there while we were off air, but. Fire away in the chat there. So what we've got, major patches initiated. Is there going to be another free weekend? I certainly don't think it's something we've spoken about yet. Again, the guys who that would be the relevant question for.
I think Gerard answered that a major patch is coming in. Yeah.
Oh right, I see. Okay.
So that's fine. Most things the destroyer needs a buff. Yeah, the destroyer is a new ship. We'll keep an eye on it, although it's sitting, I think, at 4th on the KD ratio. So it needs to be played a certain way, but we will keep an eye on it.
It's doing a good job on the KD. I mean, it's something it's quite a controversial ship, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's funny for a ship that does that much damage at that much range to need so much support, but it does. We'll see. It's had projectile increase as well as a small AoE increase back from its when it first was put in, but we'll keep an eye on it.
I'm sorry, 5-10 minutes. I'll take them. Replay option. Replay option. Oh, as in jumping into the same game, or like as in doing a rematch?
Game.
A rematch, or
yeah. I mean, assume you're talking about something like World of Tanks. You can just record the whole game, save it on a video, and then look at it. Or are you talking about replay your last kill? Because that won't work. But being able to tape your game, possibly in the future, but yeah, not for a while.
Are we planning a studio swap of loots? I'm not sure what that means, to be honest.
What's that?
Crytek.
From Crytek? Okay, I'm not really sure.
I don't get that question.
But yeah, yes, I don't get it. But thank you. Please, let us know what you mean. Just the top of that question's cut off. You can leave at least one open to access the enemy base, but not when capping it. There's going to be something about the
some questions about the premium ship.
Here it is. With the current system of the forward station, you need at least one option to access the enemy base, but not when capping it. Would an open inhibitor kind of system, it's gone again. Cheers, Crispy. Kind of like LOL be the quick solution to the assassin backdoor and the like.
Well, actually,
specifically, I've been talking about it on the Steam forums actually last night, and I think I came up with what I think might work. Specifically, my problem with the assassin is just that the assassin can stay stealth in your base sector after you've recapped your forward stations, and then as a defender, if it's late game, that assassin, if the assassin is still there, the assassin could completely just win the game for the enemy team if you don't leave someone there. So you have to leave someone there just in case the assassin is still there. So you basically just have, you got this, the only sensible option you have in that situation is to leave someone in your home base sector, even though the enemies don't have access to your home base sector, and that person's having no fun, just on the off chance that the assassin is still hanging around. That's what I don't like, and that's what I want to fix. And what I was thinking about last night, which I think might work, is we just have sector-wide stealth detect on the home base sector, but only while you hold both of your forward stations. So when the assassin is with an attacking force, he can still jump in, he can still stealth, he can still use all of his abilities to their full effect, but if they jump out and recapture those forward stations, all of a sudden he can't just lurk around and troll. Is that trolling that bugs me? So yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm thinking about to solve it right now.
And the other thing you could do is a pulse detect pulse, so it's not on all the time, but you can regularly update it.
Yeah, but I think that would only be triggering while you own your forward stations, and then once one of those is compromised, or both of those are compromised, assassins should be able to do their thing in your home base sector. I don't want it to be a nerf to the assassin at all, just a nerf to its ability to do that.
I like the idea of launching guided chainsaws. Let's hold off till Halloween when we put some Texas Chainsaw Massacre skins out, shall we?
Guided.
Oh, right.
Red background.
There we go.
Nice.
That's the one. Crytek loots for FS loot, since you took away my dev access and I don't get everything for free. Oh, right, okay. I think is that our old friend Bungle, who I believe works at
Bungle.
Crytek. Oh, hey
Bungle.
Bungle, you're right, mate. How you doing? Okay.
Well, yeah, I thought Sam was going to sort you out with a key or something. Obviously, nobody gets anything. Even we don't get anything for free. Access to the ships because we have to unlock them.
I don't even get tea bags for free.
Yeah. So everybody, including the devs, has to unlock the things through the progression tree. But hopefully, you've got Sam sorted you out with a key and everything. So hopefully that's sorted.
Yeah.
If not, contact Sam. Also, done as free hunting also.
Oh, it's talking about the loitering. Yeah. I'll take some Crytek loots for Zerid loots. Well, it seems like the question seems to...
I think Gerard and Zerid, as always, have been answering questions incredibly well.
Yeah,
so they're
thanks so much, guys.
dealing with. Thanks, guys.
Always appreciate that. Again from the community side, it's great to have
All right. Yeah.
back, so.
Just a match history from Commando. Yeah. Something I don't know about you, but something I like in Tanks is that thread that you've got. You can open up and you can bring up all the results from your previous matches in that session, and it's something I'd like us to get in. But it's a way off yet, but yeah, we want to be able to have that so you can go back and then look at results from the previous matches that time. That would be cool.
Quick on here, sniper view gets
obscured by third person camera.
Makes hiding in close combat difficult if not impossible. Thanks.
The sniper actually can get completely screwed by a close ship because the way the sniper view camera works, or any of the aimed view camera works, is it pushes the camera beyond the ship. So the camera exists on the near side of the ship to the target rather than behind the ship to the third person. The camera does need a lot more work, especially with dealing with collision and objects and near ships. So it'll evolve. Apologies for the problems in the meantime.
A couple more questions about the party system there. It's something that's being worked on and incoming, guys.
And we do understand how important it is. We know you've got a new game or a game you enjoy and you want to play it with your friends and you want to play, platoon up or team up and play, especially when it's 5v5 and you can fill that team. It comes with drafting. It comes to a certain extent with matchmaking. So it is something we're adding. We will get it in, but currently we're early access and we've got some systems to do.
That's right. Here we go. Slow drones on the flagships. I see the debuff resetting and the point defense seems inadequate to deal with them, reducing your chance of escaping greatly. Is this just a bug/thing with the small ship system being new or something else?
Escaping from slow, I mean, there's a whole... I'm currently spending a lot of time going through point defense missiles and small ships, looking at them, because at the moment we have an issue where, for the most part, point defense is over-effective. If you're managing it well, you can pretty much clear down any missile volley. We want to make that a little closer to the bone, so you can angle your ship for a better impact from missiles. If you pull away from the missiles, your point defense will take them out. If you can't or don't, then you're going to take at least some of the damage. Likewise with the drones, I'm doing a pass on the health and duration of the drones against point defense. So that will come out. The slow drones are very effective, especially for a flagship to close on target. I'll take a look at that as well. But mostly I'm doing a balance effect on that. Those new systems came in on the previous big patch, and we still want to get those right, because obviously at the end of the month the carrier's coming, and they need to be at a good place before that.
Would it be possible to replace the Corvette's heel beam with a lifesteal beam as an add-on thing in the tech tree? I don't know what you think on that, Jim. I'm not sure that would that compromise it from being a support. It's got leech drones already.
It does leech drones already, which are obviously intended there to keep it alive in the close combat, because it moves in. They're meant to give it a chance of survival. I don't know. It sounds like a change, quite a big change to the Corvette. I'm not actually completely ruling it out, but that does feel like a different ship, and we're all about adding different ships. So very possibly, maybe that's something we do with an alternate TDS. They're very big on their lifesteal.
Very much.
We're also very aware that the health leech on the equalizer led to some big problems until we got it about right, nearly. We have to be very careful with that.
Some more questions about the lore there. We've got that's sort of a work in progress, and alien ships and things like this.
There's some great threads actually on the forums about alien ships. Seraphine's posted a load of stuff. Lore and new manufacturers and factions actually, which for us exist outside manufacturers, will be coming. There's two things. One, we want to get the game to a point where lore can support it. Well, the game mode's changing. We write up a whole lore that sort of supports a scenario, that then the scenario changes, the lore is incorrect, and the game should come first. So I'm holding off until we've got mode stable, but also I need some time to spend going through it.
Right, what we got? I think we've got time for one or two more questions. So we've got. It's really hard to see what is what IMO, just like the UI setup and all the crap. Well, I mean, UI is an intuitive thing, right? I mean, it's not.
One thing it's worth saying, generally with HUD especially, is we want you to have more options on how your HUD looks, to turn on and off information when you do or don't need it from the options. Tanks is a great example of that, where you can stack information on a target, and you can cover the screen with text by just turning everything on, or you can minimize it just to the information you need. So eventually we'd expect you to have those kind of options, and you can control what you're seeing. But at the moment we need to make sure that we have all the systems and they're all working correctly.
Your robot design is beautiful. Thanks, Shaka. We'll let Ginger Daddy know that.
You'll be very
happy with that. Do you plan on adding FS streamers on your website? There's a sticky thread on the Steam forums about streamers. Let us know if you stream the game. Drop something in the forums, and I'll be sure to check you out. We'd love seeing you guys show off our game. So. Will there be any new maps appearing? We've covered the map quite a lot. I think we are working on some map things. Rest assured, this isn't the final map and game mode. Disruptor, I can't seem to get the jump to ally. Can you explain how this works? Hit T to target, get within range.
Jump to ally specifically only goes to allies, obviously, and needs to be within a set range. When we have the range indications, that'll be clearer. It could be what you're seeing is a bug. I can have a look at it, but I think without the range indication, it could just be you're out of range. Also, obviously, it's on cooldown. It can get shut down by ability disables and all sorts.
So, a question there from Brigadier Bungle: Will we be at Gamescom in Cologne this week? Let me beg for a plane ticket and see what happens.
Where's Macket Style at the moment?
He's in Germany at the moment.
Yeah. Maybe he's there.
Not sure what he's doing. Planets and moons. Some maps to run high. Planets and moons to as geometries possibly get a little bit too big in scale. I think. Using planets and moons as cover.
Our ships are big, but
they're
not that big. We actually worked on. We didn't actually. We took a look at doing a project a long time ago, a version of Star Trek Legacy, and in that basically they had big planets. And they look at the right scale until the ship came in, and then when the Enterprise bumps up against them, you realise that the scale was all wrong. When you stick a planet next to things, you'll realise very quickly they're not planets, they're not even moons. I think
That's no moon.
But
yeah.
I don't know. We're getting some new code work done so that we can do some funky stuff with the map. At the moment, the map's one giant big map and it all shares its same light source. But eventually, we're going to get the ability to split it and do radically different lighting in all of the different sectors. Give them all their very own unique feel. Yeah. And it'll also allow us to go absolutely crazy with the backgrounds. At the moment, the backgrounds are pretty big. They're probably bigger than is sensible given the way we're building stuff right now, but we want to make them huge. We want to make them really grand, epic backgrounds around each sector, and once we can split the map, then we can keep the play space right in the middle and then go crazy with background.
I think unless we got any more burning issues.
Well, I was going to say there's somebody asking about cross promotion with Star Citizen. Willus has worked on Star Citizen, but I think Chris Roberts is up for it. I'm sure we'd be the ones that benefited most, but let him know. Tell him to cross promote with us, and it'll all be good.
Fractured Space Hive, that's what we need. Is our age to write more content the better? Okay, scaling the hit off. Couldn't find the streamers posting forums. Okay. Yeah, and it's on the Steam forums. It's sticky at the top there. It's in the top few categories. But yeah, I think I'm exhausted.
Oh, I will say, bringing up the Steam forums, I'll say be patient with us. The numbers of people using the game and using the forums obviously has escalated beyond all belief.
Oh yeah.
Previously, a few of us could jump in and respond to things and try and keep up with it. Willus and Stanith, Sam, have all been excellent at doing that.
This community I'm managing just got a whole lot bigger.
Yeah, there's a lot of posts, and the guys are going to try and sort of triage and get posts to the right people, but bear with us while we're trying to answer your questions.
Yeah, I got home last night and I ended up just having a quick look at the Steam forums, and then at 2 a.m. I thought I should really go to bed.
Yeah, it's exhausting, isn't it? There's also, as Jim says, please bear with us. You know, we are but men. You know, there's only so much we can do. When will the micro stuttering be sorted? We're playing the game for months now. Not too sure.
Micro stuttering, I'm guessing you're talking about lag.
Yeah.
We do have a problem with lag. We're trying to reduce the number of instances on the server boxes. We're trying to resolve some issues with the ships themselves. Obviously, we play it, we see the lag. We're seeing frame rate is pretty good and the lag's terrible, and we need to resolve it, so it's an ongoing thing. The hotfix today was meant to fix some aspects of it, but we're still seeing it, so it will still. It's a priority.
Okay. Pixelated Poro, which status do I have as a pre-alpha tester? I'm not too sure about that. It's probably worth dropping us a line on support@educategames.net, and then it'll get forwarded on to the relevant department, and we can have a look. We'll let you know. We'll answer your questions on that. Probably don't have what's in front of us now to answer that. I think that's covered everything that's on there. So
if not,
let
us know.
And if you've only just joined us, then we're going to be. I'll put this up on YouTube tomorrow. It's been quite some time, so it might be in two parts, but we'll have it on there. So thanks very much for joining me, Jim and
Cheers,
Willus,
guys.
and thanks for watching, guys, and thanks again for playing the game this week. We really appreciate it, and special thanks as well to our established players for helping introduce people to the game.
Yeah.
It means a lot. It really does. So, it's all your support really does mean the world. So thanks very much, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for the community playtest.
See you soon.
See you later.
See
Bye.
ya.